My name is Bill Fisher. This demo covers storyboard thumbnailing and planning for high-impact, low-production labor animation using Adobe Animate. Alright, you should have downloaded the 16x Storyboard Thumbs template.fla file. Let's open that up. It will ask you to download this Osaka file. We don't need to do that. Once the file opens, you'll see that it looks like this. If you would like to follow along the demo with the same workspace as I have, you can choose Window, Workspaces, and Small Screen. Here's that same template with the storyboard that I created to demonstrate how we can make animations very efficiently with only a few assets. This is loosely based on the structure of an Aesop's fable and is called The Flying Chicken. As you can see, I have only needed to generate a few assets. I have two backgrounds, some chicken coops, which I've drawn in blue, and a rooftop with some clouds, which I have drawn in green. In terms of characters, I have a chicken that's standing upright and trying to fly, and then that same chicken really designed bent over, pecking the ground. Now I'm going to review how I actually created the boards. The first thing I did, knowing that I was going to need this chicken character, is I sketched them out. I knew they would just be standing around for part of the story and trying to fly at a certain time. So I sketched those out and then copied and pasted them up here. I also made a version using that same sketch of the chickens pecking the ground. So I copied and pasted some of these pecking chickens around, quickly sketched in a couple of chicken coops, and then as the camera pulls back, it reveals our main character, the flying chicken. I pasted the design in here and just erased the bottom. Then I wanted to truck the camera down, so I pasted the character into this shot and just erased the top. So you can see how I'm using this same chicken with different camera views as we move through the boards. And I'm also using these same little pecking chickens. Here's my flying version of the chicken. Here I have a quick falling version of the chicken. All that I've made by copying, pasting these designs, and then just manipulating them a little bit. The key to creating high-impact, low-production labor animation is to generate a very low number of fairly large scenes and then move the camera around those scenes in and out to rarely reveal the entire illustration or the entire scene, but always working with parts of it. Let's take a quick tour of the storyboard components. First, of course, we have the title. Put the length in here. We're going to have a title page, and down here in this area where it says panel, I included the narrator's text. I can associate what we're going to see on screen with what the narrator will be saying. I also have some camera notes. Camera trucks out from here, reveals the standing chicken. Then the camera pans down. Sometimes I'll use arrows. And I do like to number these notes. That way, if I'm talking with somebody, a collaborator, I can reference these numbers. Let's take a look at the layers that I've set up. We have, first of all, notes, text, that's the narration, and anything that's going to be a title screen or credits, the rooftop and the clouds, coops, my big chicken, my many chickens. Because I always make my media accessible, I always use captions. In order to make sure that the captions don't cover up any of the important action in the animation, I have these blue guides. I keep all the important graphics above those guides. Sketching in Animate is a lot like sketching in any other Adobe software. Over here we have our toolbar, and this toolbar can be expanded. Not every tool available automatically shows up, so if there's a tool you're interested in using, you can usually find it over here and then drag it in. There's our pencil tool. We're going to be using the pencil tool quite a bit while we're sketching. We can make a layer by clicking this little plus, double click. I'm going to call this chicken. The tools we're going to be using today are the oval, the pencil, the transform, and the eraser. Let's start by making the chicken head. We will do that with the oval tool. Before I make an oval, I'm going to set up my snapping. I'm going to turn off all of the snapping except for snap to objects. Before I draw the oval with the oval tool selected, I will choose properties where I can control the stroke, which I'm going to set at 3. I can control the stroke color, which I will set to black, and the stroke fill of the object, which I will set to none. I'm also going to make sure that object drawing is off. When object drawing is on, it has a little box around it. When it's off, it doesn't. Now I will draw the oval, and as you can see, it is on an angle over here, so I will get transform, click my oval, and get it to look like that. Now I'm going to draw the beak. I will use the line tool for the beak, and I will turn object drawing on. Start just by drawing 3 lines. Because I have snap to object on, these lines will connect at their intersection points. I can choose the selector here and just mold this and sculpt this like clay. You can see that each one of these is an object, which means that it can move over top of the ellipse and I can still select it, and it won't select the ellipse underneath it. That can be very helpful to keep the components separate. Now I may want to combine these with the oval, so then what I can do is select them all, break them apart, draw a box around all of this with the selector tool, and then I can group it, and then this head with the beak is one group. If I want to change anything, I can double click into the group and I can make, some changes to it. One of the changes I might want to make is to choose this little line segment and delete it. In order to get out of the group, I can follow the trail up here and go back to the scene. Let's start drawing the body. For that, I will use the pencil tool. I will make sure it is set to smooth, and in properties I will set the stroke size to 3 and the fill to none. Lastly, I will scroll down and reveal pencil options and set the amount of smoothing that I want. I like to set that all the way up. That way I will not have very many points on the curved lines that I draw, which will allow me to manipulate that curved line much more easily after I draw it. Let's draw the line. Now let's get the subselection tool, and you can see it just made a couple of points, which is great. The fewer the points, the better for manipulating the object, or the line in this case. I called it an object because I had object drawing on, so you can see it looks like that. That will allow me to draw another shape and manipulate it. And if I go back and get my regular selector tool, you'll see that's an object and that's an object, so I can move them independent from each other. Once I have my character completely drawn, you can see that it's made up of a lot of separate objects. I can select them all and group them together into one object. To reuse a scene or a character, we can simply select it, copy it, and paste it. Break it apart, and break it apart again. And then with our black pointer, choose the portion that may not be in the frame. Maybe it's a close-up. And I can also use the eraser to do that. And then I still have the original character over here that I can copy and paste into other frames and scale up or scale down and erase parts that may not be fitted in the frame at any particular point in time. Animate has a history window, which we can choose like this, and it has a slider that can take you back to previous versions. Well, that wraps up the demo for today. Thanks for watching.